A very happy morning to all of you children. Hope you all are taking good care of yourselves at home. Children, eat healthy and stay fit at home. Nowadays, during these difficult times, it's very important and necessary for all of us to stay healthy. I welcome you all in science class. Students, today we will be starting with a new chapter. That's chapter number 8, Reproduction and Adolescence. In this chapter, we will study about the reproduction in animals and also we will study about the adolescent stage in human beings. If you all recall, in 7th standard you have studied about the reproduction in plants, children. So I'm sure reproduction is not a new term for all of you. So how do we define reproduction? Reproduction can be defined as the process of producing young ones from their parents. Reproduction means producing young ones of its own kind. So, how important is reproduction for all of us? We have different life processes like respiration, excretion, circulation, digestion that help an organism to remain alive, right? But all organisms grow old and ultimately they all die, right? Reproduction is a process which is actually essential for the continuation of a species. Now, what do we understand by species? Species is actually a group of individuals of same kind that can reproduce. For example, we the human beings, we belong to one species. Then we have dogs, they have a different species. In Hindi, species mean jati. Yes? So जैसे cats हैं वो अलग species हैं. Yes? So these species can interbreed. ये एक दूसरे के साथ ही reproduce कर पाते हैं. They cannot go ahead and interbreed or reproduce with the other species. Alright? So reproduction allows organism to make more copies of itself. Thus, the species of an organism continue even after their death. Now, what will happen if the reproduction does not take place? Children, in the absence of reproduction, no organism would be left after their death and the species would vanish from the earth. So, reproduction is really important for all of the living organisms on the earth. Now, how does reproduction takes place? There are actually many ways by which young ones or new individuals are produced by their parents. Can you give some general example where you have seen the parents producing the young ones? For example, we see the hatch out of eggs. Some of the organisms, they hatch out eggs like chicks and snakes, and some are born from their mothers like kitten, puppies and human beings. Then some grows from their parents' body as in case of hydra. So all these are different methods that can be broadly divided into two types. So there are two modes of reproduction, that's asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. We will go ahead and study one by one both of these modes, starting with the asexual reproduction, children. Asexual reproduction is the one in which only a single parent is involved, and this is known as asexual reproduction. Only one single parent can produce the young one or can produce the new individual. Alright, so that is actually asexual reproduction. I'm sure in plants you would have studied about the asexual reproduction too. Yes, so animals to reproduce asexually by a number of methods. Some of the asexual reproduction methods are binary fission, budding, fragmentation and regeneration. So we will go ahead and study both a couple of them. Starting with binary fission, children. Binary fission is actually a common process, a common reproduction method in case of unicellular organisms like amoeba. Yes, so in this method, The parent cells divide itself into two equal individuals. As the name suggests, binary. Binary means two. Yes. So the parent cell divides into two equal individuals. Now the process begins with the nucleus dividing into two nuclei, which is followed by the division of the cytoplasm into two parts, each part containing a nucleus. And finally, two daughter amoebae are formed. Each daughter amoeba grows into a full-size amoeba. Here in the diagram, you can see here the parent nuclei divide first, then the cytoplasm divides, and then two daughter cells are formed, each one having one nucleus, right? And then they develop into two daughter amoebas. So this is how the binary fission takes place. There are also examples where multiple daughter cells are produced. In that case, it is called as multiple fission. The word fission means to split. So, fission, in binary fission, the cell or the parent cell splits into two daughter cells. That's what actually is binary fission. Moving on to the next method in asexual reproduction, that's budding. Okay, so budding is common in Hydra. This takes place by the formation of buds. Buds are nothing but they are small bulb-like projections formed on the body of an animal. In Hydra, a small bulb-like outgrowth is formed. If you see here in the diagram number 2, a bud-like structure is formed on the body. This is the bud, and the complete body is called as the parent body. The bud grows in size. The nucleus of the parent hydra divides into two, and one of the nuclei here moves into the bud. टू न्यूक्लियर में डिवाइड होता है पेरेंट का न्यूक्लियस, एक न्यूक्लियस बड में चला जाता है और एक पेरेंट के पास ही रह जाता है. सो देन द बड डिटैचेस इटसेल्फ फ्रॉम द पेरेंट बॉडी and thus it grows to full size and becomes an independent individual. This is how the budding takes place. Now there are also other methods that we will not go ahead and study in detail. Regeneration, as I mentioned, regeneration में you would have seen the lizards, उनकी tail कट जाती है, then again it regenerates. So that's an example of regeneration. So this is about the asexual reproduction, children. Now in the next video we will study about the sexual reproduction in animals.